Welcome to another Realvolve training video. My name is Mark Stepp. I want to step you through how to create a workflow that will send contact information to a Facebook custom audience for you. So the thing that I want to do is use a template. We're going to use what is called a reverse zap. Basically, we're taking data out of Realvolve and putting it into the zap or sending it to the zap. So in order to do that, we need to know some data that we're going to send. Now, for this zap, I do have two different fields. I've got the name field. What I've done is I've gone into the template area, created a new template. It is a contact template, and want to make sure that you do set it up as an email transactional template. That way it doesn't have any of the unsubscribe extra stuff on there. But I put in a little title called name, and then I'm using two merge fields. One is called workflow contact mailing name, which I really don't have to have. It's more of a case of just having the extra information in case I ever wanted it. And then the email colon and then workflow contact home email. Now what this does is this will replace the merge fields with the mailing name and the home email address of the person that we started the workflow on. That's why we use workflow contact. It's whoever the workflow was started on, that's the contact. And we're going to do this because we're actually going to be sending this template to a different person or a different mailbox that is in our database that I'm going to show you how to use. But if we don't put workflow contact in here, it'll send the information of the person that we're emailing to, and we don't want that. So we want to make sure that we always use workflow contact in this particular instance whenever we're sending out. So once you've got your template done and saved, then what you want to do is you're going to want to go to parser.zapier.com. Now, Parser is a feature of Zapier that allows you to create mailboxes. You can create an unlimited number of mailboxes. You just come down here, click on the Create Mailbox. It will come up with a sample mailbox name. I typically just click on Skip Waiting, and then it'll give you a place where you can put in the name. This just has to be a unique name of some sort, which I've already got one created like this. You're going to want to make sure that you have something other than Facebook audience in yours because you don't want your emails coming to this email address. You want it to go to your email address. So Facebook audience, and maybe put in your initials or your name on there or something, Mark Stepp. I'll just put like that in here for now. Once you've got that set up, you can click on Save Address, and it will create an email with whatever we typed in there at robot.zapier.com. Now, I had already created the Facebook audience at robot.zapier.com, so I'm going to continue to use it, and I'll leave this on here for now. But basically, we're just wanting to use this one for facebook.audience.com. Now, once you've got that address made up, you can copy that address and go to your Realvolve contacts. Click on Add a Contact and add a contact. I called it Facebook Audience. You can name it whatever you want. Go into the email field and put in that email address that we just created in Zapier. What this will do is this will give us a placeholder or an address that we can always send to within Realvolve so that it gets to the designated person. Once you do that, one thing that you can do very easily is come up here to the send email, pick that template that we just created, which was Facebook, add Facebook audience, so it has the name and email, and then just go ahead and send that email to the parser. It'll put in the name would be Facebook audience and the email will be this robot, but that's fine just for setting this up. Once you send that, then you'll see an email come to that email address where you can see the template. So here we have the name and then the field that we had chosen, the workflow contact. Here's the name and the email address for that person. Typically what you do is go into template and highlight this so that it actually shows you something like this where it has the extracted information into a field called full name and the email address into the email address field. So you just create those within the template area. You're just highlighting it and then giving it a name. You can give it any name. I used full name and email address as the names of those two placeholders. Once you have those identified, then we can go into Realvolve, and I'm going to create, or I've created here, just a single workflow with a single activity. But realize you could have this as part of maybe a closing process or a listing process. So it's just one activity that could be in any number of workflows that you may have. But it is a contact workflow currently, the way I have it set up. In this particular case, we're going to edit this and we're going to take a look at it. What I've done is I've given it a title, add to Facebook audience. Who's supposed to do it? Now I'm logged in as Joe Agent. Pick the interested parties. This is where we're going to specify that we wanted that Facebook audience contact. And we do this so that we can use that parser email address. Got it? So we've selected a specific contact and we've chosen that it's the Facebook audience contact that we want in there. The when doesn't really matter because we're going to send this immediately anyway. 0 days after start date's fine. We're just going to set it as a type of email. Not that that really matters. But down here in the action, you're going to click on create an action so that you can create an action in here. Give it a name called add to Facebook audience. It is a message that's going to be sent immediately. It's an email message, and I've chosen that template that we created in the first step for add to Facebook audience, and then click on save. Then you can click on update. Once you've got this, then you can go in and use it anytime that you want. Now, again, you can use this one activity in any other workflow if you wanted to as well. You just got to make sure that you've got it set up right for the template based off of if it's a property or a transaction used with, you'll want to make sure that you've got the available templates for those. So now, here's where all the magic works. We're going to go into the Zapier area, and we're going to click on the option to create a new Zap. Now, I've already created it, but in this particular case, we're using the parser, the email parser by Zapier. It's going to ask what is the action we want. Anytime we get a new email, we want to use it. It's going to ask which email address are we wanting to check as the trigger. Well, that Facebook audience parser is the one that receives this email and the one that will parse it out and give us the information that we want. So we select that in the list, and then you can go in here and do a quick test if you want. It sends it. Now, the action part of this, that was the trigger. The action of this is set up as the Facebook custom audience. Now, you'll see that this is for premium users. So what this means is, in order to use this feature, you do have to have the paid version of Zapier, not just the free version. Sorry, I don't have any control over that. That's just the way it's set up. Any of the premium ones have to be on the paid version. But Facebook has lots of different apps, but the one that we're needing here is the Facebook custom audiences. So once you select that, it'll give you two options. One is to add an email to a custom audience or create a custom audience. In this case, we're just wanting to take that email address that we're sending of the contact that we started the workflow on, sending their email to this custom audience. So we select custom audience and click continue. Which account? I'm just going to choose mine. And then it's going to come up and say, okay, which ad account, which this is my ad account, and then which custom audience do I want to use? So I select Mark's list. I already have this available, so you just select whichever list you have for your custom audience. Then the last thing that it needs is the email address for the contact that you're going to be adding to this custom audience. In this case, it's just showing the sample one of the Facebook audience at robot.zapier.com. But if you look, if I turn off the little preview, you'll see that it's actually using the merge field for parse output email address. And the way that you get to that is simply by, I'm just going to delete it out, you click on this little button over here on the right hand side and you choose the appropriate merge field for parse output, and then whatever you named that merge field in this section here, the email address, you select that field. So here is that merge field, and then you click on continue. Then what it will do is it'll give you some options to test and do all that. Absolutely, go through that process, send a test, and then make sure that you turn the Zap on. Once it's on, now we can go to any contact in the database and we can start a workflow. So I'm going to click on Start a Workflow, and I'm going to choose my Facebook audience workflow. Again, this could be part of your listing workflow or whatever. Just have to make sure it's set up as a proper activity in some other workflow. I'm just using this as an example. Click on Next, Next, Done. So what it did is it created that workflow because it was an immediate email that went out. It immediately sent the information to this email address. And boom, there's Mark and Kathy Stepp is the full name. Again, we don't even use this, but I wanted to put that in there so I could see it. But here's the email address, mark.stepp@gmail.com. This is my personal one. So if I go into my ad manager and refresh that, and we look at the custom audience list, there it is. It got added just now. So it added another row to the list. And I don't have it. Actually, I guess I do have it. So here I can click on edit. I can add and remove customers. But that's how you add it automatically through a workflow. And the real key to this is something you don't even have to be doing manually. If you have it in a like a lead generation workflow of some sort that already exists, just create it so that it just does it for you. You don't even have to worry about it. I hope this helps you. If you have any additional questions, let us know, and I'm happy to answer the questions. Have a great day.